This is an AnsweringFalsehood.com production.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وآله وصحابته ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. الحمد لله، نحمد الله سبحانه وتعالى إليكم. اللهم إني أعوذ بك أن أضل وضل وزل وزل أو أظلم وأظلم أو أجهل ويجهل علي. The first thing I want to start with a hadith that's related by Imam al-Tabarani with an isnad. And it's from Abu Umama عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن لكل شيء إقبالا وإدبارا وإن من إقبال هذا الدين ما كنتم عليه من العمى والجهالة وما بعثني الله به وإن من إقبال هذا الدين أن تتفقه القبيلة بأسرها حتى لا يوجد فيها إلا الفاسق أو الفاسقان فهما مقهوران ذليلان إن تكلما قمعا وقهرا واضطهدا وإن من إدبار هذا الدين أن تجفو القبيلة بأسرها حتى لا يرى فيها إلا الفقيه أو الفقيهان فهما مقهوران ذليلان إن تكلما فأمر بالمعروف ونهي عن المنكر قمعا وقهرا واضطهدا فهما مقهوران ذليلان لا يجدان على ذلك أعوانا ولا أنصارا. The hadith says that everything has a iqbal, which is a movement towards something, and a idbar, which is a movement away from something. And from the iqbal of this deen, from this deen's coming to us, moving towards us, he said, is that you were in blindness and ignorance. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent me with what I have to you. And from this deen coming is that a tribe will learn fiqh, all of them, an entire tribe, bi-asriha, until you will not find in that whole tribe one fasiq or two fasiqs, one bad person or two bad persons. And then he said, if they speak, these two bad persons are maqhurani, dhalilani, they're the ones that have to shut up. They're the ones that don't have any authority and power, the bad people, because they're surrounded by too many good people, so they don't have a time to actually, or an opportunity to bring their filth into the community. And then he said, if they speak out, they will be subdued, conquered, and belittled, put down. And then he said, from the movement away of this deen is that a qabila tajfu bi-asriha. Jafa means they'll become harsh. They'll become harsh. The entire tribe, until there will only remain one or two faqihs, people who understand the deen of Islam. And if they speak, these two people, with good, encouraging them, the whole tribe will attack them and say, uskut, be quiet, don't tell us. And then he said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, if they command to good or forbid evil, they're overpowered by these people, and they're weak amongst them, and they won't find anyone to help them and anyone to give them support. A'wanan wa ansara, people to give them victory, people to be an aun, a support for them. Now, I'd just like to mention one thing in relation to this hadith. I first became Muslim almost 20 years ago. When I became Muslim, I think it was after a year that I found out that tayammum was not permissible if there was water when you were traveling. In other words, and Allah forgive me because I don't know how many, if I prayed without, I can't remember. But I learned that tayammum, after 1 year of being Muslim, with Muslims, living with them, after one, because I was initially taught, if you're traveling, you have a choice. If you can do tayammum, it's a rukhsa, it makes it easier, or you can do wudu. I didn't know that that was wrong until after a year of being Muslim. I had some people tell me put your hands here, some people tell me put them here, some people told me move the finger, some people said no, keep the finger still. I started becoming bewildered. What's going on here? What is this teaching? And I realized after a few years that the only way that I'm going to get any peace of mind is to find out for myself. And I realized that I have to first learn Arabic, because the literature, and there's more literature now in English, but at that time when I became Muslim, and Sidi Abdullah Hakim knows that this is true, and other people around at that time, there was not a lot of literature in English, and there certainly wasn't any books on fiqh to teach you anything about fiqh. So I realized I had to go and find out. Well, at that point, the trouble begins. Because where do I go? Where do I go? As a young, I was about 21 years old, and I decided I want to seek knowledge, and I said, where do I go? Well, I got an opportunity from a wonderful man, Sheikh Abdullah Ali al-Mahmoud, who was a man from Sharjah, Shariqa, in the Emirates. And he was an older man who remembered, he actually rode by camel around the Najd. I mean, that's the era that he came out of, and he was a faqih, and he was a very spiritual and sincere person. And he met me in London, and I had just learned some words in Arabic. I was trying to put them together. I got a little book. I was trying to learn how to speak Arabic, and I said to him, Kayfa haluka, ana min America, ismi hamza, you know, and I'm calling hamza is actually a letter. It's not a name, it's a letter. So he, Jazallahu khairan, said, you have to come and study, and I'll facilitate that for you. So he actually gave me an opportunity to go to the Emirates and to study. When I got to the Emirates, I was put into a place called Al-Mahad al-Islami, which is in Al-Ain. And by good or bad fortune, I went to extremely good schools in the United States. I went to private Jesuit school, and so I was used to a very high standard of education in the West. When I went to Al-Mahad al-Islami, I found, and it was a good experience for me, because I learned a lot of words immediately, like ya himar, ya ghabi, ya wahshi, ya ahmaq, you know, and the Arabs know what it means, and most of you who don't speak Arabic know what it means, because this is what the teacher used to say to the students constantly. Oh donkey, oh jackass, oh fool, oh idiot. So I learned those words very quickly, because you learn things that you hear all the time. Now, I had never seen that, because I grew up in a place where the teachers actually respected you. and really, this is actually, we should be crying, in fact, because we know now what that type of attitude does to children. You see, if you're always being told something, you come to believe that thing. And what I saw basically was a gross pale imitation of Western education. It was really at the lowest levels of Western education. And the school was started by a very righteous man with very good intentions, but unfortunately, the people with the best of intentions are still encumbered with the difficulties and the problems that exist from the post-colonial trauma of the Muslim Ummah, and how we get beyond that. Now, after a very short time there, and I was learning Arabic more and more rapidly, I met a West African scholar from Mauritania. And the first thing I recognized is the man had light on his face. Unlike a lot of the people that were teaching me at the Mahad, they actually appeared sometimes actually dark to me. And I went up to him and I said that I asked him where he was from. He said Mauritania. I said, you know, I'm looking for somebody who knows how to teach Islam in a traditional way. And he said, well, that's the way I learned, and I'm a mufti at the Sharia court, and you can come anytime to my house that you want to, day or night. That's what he told me. He gave me his number and he gave me his address. And I started going to this man's house, and he would sit there and he would say, what do you want to study? And then I would ask him questions, he would answer them, he would tell me this, this, and this, and he would say, you should memorize this because that's the only way to learn. And I noticed the people in that environment, other Mauritanians coming, most of them memorized the Quran, they knew fiqh, they were very clear in their understanding of Islam. And I was very affected by these people. They affected me because I hadn't seen people like them. Now, the secret of these people is simply one thing and one thing only. And I'm convinced of this now, after thinking about it for a long time. These are people that the colonials actually never got to.